K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you're watching another episode of Sports Minute. Tonight, I am joined by my co-host for the evening. Welcome back, Mr. Big B. How are you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing good. Sorry I can't be on camera. I'm on my phone right now. But I'm ready to talk some sports. It's been a while.
Sounds good. All right, and then, of course, Big Game James. How you doing tonight, my man?
Just got back from LA. Spent some time with family and friends. Little Angels tailgate. They're not playing well. We'll get into that more.
Yeah. All right, and then Crispy, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Glad to be back, and a lot of sports, a lot of good, a lot of bad, but it's sports.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to kick this off because Big B inspired me on this topic. So thank you, Big B, for giving the inspiration here.
I can't wait.
First of all, Big B mentioned how the Minnesota Twins were taking Byron Buxton and moving him to DH, and we know why they were moving him there. Simple, because you want to limit the injuries, especially when somebody's been in the league for 9+ years and has only played over 100 games one time in his 9-year span. But then, Big B, you make up a great point. You put him at DH, then you're putting limitations on maybe your outfield when you know what kind of an outfielder he can be, how talented he can be in the outfield. So then you're taking that away. So, James, I'll go ahead and start out with you on this one. What is your thoughts about a team taking virtually their best player, but worried about injury? And so they're like, you know what, we'll go ahead and stick him at DH and let him hit, but not play him in the field because we're worried about this person getting hurt. Do you think that teams start limiting now?
I think that's smart as hell because we've seen that happen with catchers get moved over the first base. That happened with Buster Posey.
Yeah. Joe Mauer.
God, yeah. All those years with Mauer there behind plate.
Mr. Overrated.
I like that. You're saving some time, you're saving money, and I don't mind that. That's maybe going to happen with Mike Trout with the Angels. If Shohei Ohtani leaves, then you have all these young outfielders coming up, and I could definitely see that happening. I know he got hurt just swinging a bat earlier this week, Mike Trout, on Monday. Nothing you can do about that. But then you can say, hey, if he's diving for a ball, he can, turn a wrist or break it like we saw Hideki Matsui do some years ago. They moved him to DH for some games after that. So I don't have a problem with it. It keeps the player on the field longer, or at least on the base pass longer. I'm fine with that.
Big B, do you kind of have a rebuttal on that or anything?
No, I mean, I get it why the Twins are doing it and why the Angels are thinking about doing it with Trout, because, you invest so much in these players that you want to keep them on the field. But, in Buxton's case, his value is in the outfield, but he can't stay healthy. I think it was last year somebody had a report that when Buxton's playing the outfield, the Twins win like 70% of the time. So, of course, you want him out in the outfield, but when he can't stay healthy, you got to utilize him somewhere. And right now, DH is the spot for him. So, I mean, it makes the Twins look foolish in paying them what they're paying them. But again, if you talk about shipping them out, then the Twins look foolish and not trying to keep them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mr. Buxton down the road here.
All right, Crispy, what do you think about a team picking their best player and moving him to DH?
Something the Rangers should have done. I mean, it's smart. You're trying to, use the player to their ability, but you're trying not to let them get hurt. It's kind of a two-way street. But I think it's smart.
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm thinking of a guy like Ronald Acuna, right? Who makes a big difference in the outfield. It would be like taking Acuna and being like, hey, we're going to take you out of right field and we're going to put you as DH and you're going to only bat DH.
Mhm.
You still have that great bat in the lineup, but it really takes away a lot defensively. And that's
Yep.
really my only issue with it. And I know, James, that you're talking about how the Angels are considering doing that with Mike Trout. The problem is that you're taking one of the best center fielders in the game, and you're now limiting your outfield because I don't think. And look, I know that the Angels will have a lot of up and coming outfield, but I don't think that you're gonna find one currently like Mike Trout on the Angels team. So now you're taking center field away.
Yeah, I never said it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just said there might be a scenario where he gets older and he can't run as well and he gets hurt like that. So it's not in the works yet, but it would be a smart move. Let's say this draft, if they draft an outfielder who's in high school and it looks like he's got all the tools and he's ready to be a fielder, I would consider doing it maybe 3 or 4 years from now.
Okay. So I could see that because when you think about, DH, a lot of guys who DH are guys who can really hit but they can't do a lot of running and they're not exactly the best fielders. And that's typically what I think with a DH side. I just was inspired by it because Big B was talking about the Buxton thing and why the Twins are doing it. So I guess my question, Big B, is since you had mentioned it, is this something that you're hearing that the Twins are going to continue to do all season, or are they going to kind of monitor how it goes?
Yeah, the Twins want from the higher ups is that their plan is if he plays DH, that they're shooting for him to play about 100 to 125 games. I don't know if he's still on pace for that, but yeah, their goal is to get him healthy and being able to play. They are saying right now that there's no chance for him to play the outfield this year. So we'll see where they go. But like I said before, it's a smart move, but fans are kind of impatient now especially now with Nelson Cruz being a free agent.
Yeah.
They want him to be signed so they can force Buxton to be in the outfield, which I don't think is a smart move.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying, and we know that Nelson Cruz got designated for assignment. That one happened the other day. He has not been playing very well for the Mets at all. Well, let's just say the Mets in general have not been playing very well as a team. And
You mean the Padres?
Padres.
oh, the Padres. Yes, I'm sorry. It was the Padres. Yes, I don't know why I said the Mets. I'm sorry. It was the Padres. But still, the Padres haven't even been playing very, very well as a team. And they're supposed to be loaded from top to bottom. So now it shows you.
Both teams
What's
haven't
up?
been playing well. No, I was just saying that both teams haven't been playing well.
And so Isaiah's saying Phillies do that with Harper. Honestly, why Nelson Cruz why has Nelson Cruz played this long? He's played this long because he's been DH and he can. That's why. And statistically, Cruz has put up home run numbers.
Well,
but again, we know that era of now teams are going to look at how many home runs can you hit instead of, this guy bats 300 now. If you can hit 28 home runs and still bat a 240, teams don't care. But if you're batting a 300 and you're hitting 8 8 home runs a year, then teams go, okay, we're going for the guy who hits 28 bombs a year.
Yep.
It's something that you're gonna for some reason, it has completely shifted. And yes, Isaiah, I did see how St. Louis lost tonight, and if nobody saw how St. Louis lost tonight, it was the craziest way. James saying yes, but the Cardinals had 1 out in the bottom of the ninth, and they were playing Miami, and Miami had 2 runners on base, and the ball was hit back to the pitcher, and the pitcher went to pick it up and throw it to first base, and he completely airmailed the ball into right field.
Oh,
The 2 runners came around and scored.
Oh man,
So
that's bad.
that is
Yeah.
bad.
that's a crappy way to lose the game right there. But anyways, shifting focus for a second here. I know, James, you kind of mentioned it before. Trout, Otani, Rendon. You got 3 guys like back to back to back who get hurt now and are down. That's huge for the Angels. That's really big. Now the Angels are finally on their downhill spiral. I hate to say that, James, but they are.
Is that a question?
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you agree with that statement now that the Angels are on their downhill spiral?
Yes. I can't. I have to like let it out in a certain way. You know how reporters they will ask stupid questions, and then either the athlete will answer back with a question or one word question answer, or just be like, what? Yeah. That's how I felt the last like 2 weeks. Injuries have killed him. No offense, bad pitching, bad bullpen. Somehow we did not get swept by Arizona, but San Diego swept the Angels down here. And man, luckily I didn't go to any of the games, or else it would have been a real waste of time and money. I'm happy I didn't buy any tickets, in the beginning of the season when the schedule came out. I'm so happy I didn't go through with it. It's crazy because Trout, he hurt his ham bone?
Hamstring.
Oh no, it's down here.
I like ham.
I'm sorry, down here. And it was just on the swing. The biggest injuries always happen to him. Yeah, it's near here. It's like near the wrist.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there.
He said he never felt it before.
Right, but he knew it was really bad. So he's out 6 to 8 weeks. He should just take off the season if they don't do anything well. Young guys are going to come up. They're not going to do well. They're not experienced in the game. They keep bringing up this one guy named Joe Adele, an outfielder. They had him up for 1 game, and they sent him back down twice. So it's just that way where he has so many options left. But pretty soon those options will run out. With Rendon, the littlest injuries are killing him. He hit a ball off of his shin or above the shin, and he's going to be out for probably 10 days, knowing him, or he'll try to come back Friday against the Dodgers. But and then Otani, he had to leave the game with the injury he had before. He had a cut fingernail, and I think he had a blister.
Yeah, blister.
Yeah. So 2 of those injuries on his throwing hand, and that's not going to fare well. So when you have those key 3 players out or sometime out, Otani did hit the next 2 days, but he just hit the ball to first base every time today. It seemed like he was 0 for 4. The new additions in Moustakas and Escobar really isn't working. Phil Nevin doesn't know the manager know when to pinch hit or when to send guys up or send guys down. There's got to be a time where you got to think, well, maybe we can get some for Shohei Ohtani, but they should have did that before last trade deadline last season. Now, if you trade him, you're not going to get much for him. And I just know he's going to go to the Dodgers after this season. I just know it.
I just go to Oakland. They got the money.
God.
You mean Vegas? You mean Vegas?
Oh yeah, Vegas. I'm sorry.
What the Dodgers should do, and I don't even like the Dodgers, of course, but they should literally trade for him now, and don't give too many good prospects up. They should trade for him now, since they have a lot of injuries themselves pitching. They should trade for him like tomorrow because they're playing each other. They should trade for him tomorrow. They really should. And then he'll stay with the Dodgers. He wants to be a winner. You saw that in the WBC and with Japan, how they won the WBC over Mike Trout and the USA team. He wants to win, and I think he's going to leave. So this is the downfall. Seattle's right behind us now, and we're falling. We're near Boston now in the wild card. 1 game above 500. We have a day off tomorrow, but 2 with LA, and then it's the All-Star break.
Crazy. Yeah, I just wanted to get your insight on the Angels before we went on. So, our next topic.
I think Atlanta should go after Ohtani. I mean, that would be amazing over there. I think
It would be, but the reason why. Go ahead.
if anybody trades for him, no matter what they offer and get, it's going to be undervalued because he's so dynamic right now that I don't think there's a perfect deal for him out there to be trading.
Yeah, the problem is though is like, yeah, if Atlanta traded for him, I would love it. The problem is I don't think we have enough prospects right now that we can trade for Ohtani. We don't. Because we traded for Matt Olson, we traded for Sean Murphy, and to get them, we had to trade away a lot of our prospects. So right now, I'm looking at this going, okay, we have Vaughn Grissom as a shortstop. You know, you could potentially put him in outfield if you had to. His bat is decent. He's decent defensively. He's not great, but but right now we don't have a lot of prospects is the problem. I would love to have him there. I just think that he would probably have to give an arm and a leg.
No matter what deal is struck, it's going to be undervalued on what Ohtani is because pretty much unless you give up a whole team for Ohtani, I mean,
right?
Any deal is going to look, unless you sign them to a long-term deal, which, like James said, Dodgers will be the only one. Dodgers or Yankees will be the only 2 teams out are going to sign him to a massive deal. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous what that guy get pays.
I hope it's not the Yankees. I don't want to see.
I hope it's not the Yankees or the Dodgers. I hope it's.
Yeah, I don't want it to be either of those teams.
I don't even want the Twins to sign him. I don't even want the Twins to even think about signing him as much as a great player he is. But
all right, well, I get it. All right, so moving on to our next topic here. We mentioned this a little bit last week because we know that free agency for the NBA started, and we knew that it was we didn't know. It was reported that Kyrie was going to meet with the Phoenix Suns. And then last thing we know is like Kyrie ends up re-signing with Chris's Dallas Mavericks. So
we knew. Well, people down in Dallas knew it was going to happen. A couple of people did, but
but there was a lot of reports saying that he was going to go to Phoenix though, because like people knew was that Kyrie wanted to go there, but then he ends up re-signing with Dallas.
Well, he's always wanted to re-sign here in Dallas. He liked Dallas, but then during the season there was talks of, well, he could rejoin LeBron in LA.
Oh God!
No, that was during the season.
I know.
Season.
Yeah. But that was also said about Chris Paul, though, too.
Right. But I figured, I had a feeling he was going to stay. There was no reason why. Luka seemed to like, being on the same court with him, so.
But it didn't work out, though. That's the
That's true,
thing.
but
Kyrie
it's in the
went to
middle.
Dallas, and it seemed like Dallas got worse when Kyrie
Yeah.
went there. Dallas went downhill. They got worse, and
Yeah, but
so
it was in the middle of the season. It was close to the end of the season.
it
Maybe
was.
now they'll.
But you would think
You
because
would,
Luca needed that. Luca needed that superstar. He needed that help. So everybody's like, "Oh, Kyrie's the guy. Kyrie's it." And then Kyrie goes there, and the Mavericks actually got worse with Kyrie on the team. And
Mhm.
so that's why I'm like, really? Dallas wants to try this again, which to me, I would have made it like a 1 year prove it. Let's see how it's gonna work with Luca and Kyrie. If it doesn't work, then move on. Move
Yeah.
on. But they gave him like a 3 year deal. But when you give him a 3 year deal, last year he showed they don't know if it's gonna work. But they want to give it a 3 year trial. Nah, to me, that's too much. You give Kyrie a 1 year, prove it, see if it's gonna work. Big B, what's your thoughts on Kyrie re-signing with Dallas?
Yeah, it's a kind of a shocker. I mean, granted, unless he's on the court game one, I mean, there's still possibilities he could get moved. I kind of like your idea that, okay, if you want to run it back, you go a 1 year deal with the player option or team option. Because that's kind of what we're doing in Minnesota here with our big three, as you want to call it. But yeah, when the Kyrie went there, yeah, they got worse. Everybody thought they'd be better. So maybe with the whole offseason, they can game plan around those two. Maybe it'll be a different look Mavericks team next year. But, I'm with Ace. I think it should have been a 1 year with a team or player option for the next two.
I mean, they didn't even make the playoffs
No?
with Luca and Kyrie, and I was like, you should have, but you couldn't. So,
No.
James, what's your thoughts on Kyrie going back to Dallas?
And the Dallas Mavericks, it seems like they got worse. They traded for Grant Williams. Remember, he was the one who basically woke up playoff Jimmy Butler for the Heat.
Yeah.
He was with Boston, and they just traded for him. And I feel like he's immature. Kyrie is immature. Luka can be immature as well. And Ace, you mentioned it. When they got Kyrie, Dallas was for sure going to be one of those top 5, teams. They weren't going to have to even worry about the play-in. Well, it turned out those two really needed 2 basketballs. They fought over, who's going to take the last shot down the stretch to win games. They set out games to tank to get a better draft pick to screw the Knicks. I'll always remember that too, because the NBA, I think, fined Dallas for sitting those guys. So already things aren't working out. And then you prolong this with signing him back. He doesn't have a good record with all these different teams and all these different duos or trios. This could get real messy. He could one out right away at first year. I could literally see that. I wanted Kyrie to literally go somewhere by himself. I think that's the only way it works. If he's there with young players, maybe he can play with them. But I don't see this like we said in the after the trade deadline with Dallas getting Kyrie. I don't see this working out ×2 now. I don't see this working out.
Yeah. All right. Well. All right, Chris. So we know you're a Mavericks fan. So we want to know your thoughts. Do you think it's going to actually work with Kyrie and Luca?
Just based on last year, I don't know. I hope it does, considering that now you're going to have a full year to see how it goes. I also think that you would have to try to get both of them on the court at the same time, and I think that's what they were trying to do last year. It seemed like one was hurt and the other one was hurt, so they weren't on the court at the same time. I think that's something they wanted to try to do, but hopefully it works out better this year.
Well, that's definitely going to be one of those wait and sees, and I'm still not 100% sold on it. But we did have a big time trade that actually happened. That Porzingis actually ended up going to Boston. I know James shaking his head, and he's like, "Really?" Because Marcus Smart, he gets traded away. Porzingis ends up on Boston, so it only makes Boston even better yet. But
Mm.
no, you're saying no, but I truly feel like it does make them better. It makes them better, but I still don't think I still don't think it's going to be enough. Because and this is a big if. So let's say that Lillard gets traded to Miami like he wants to. That's just going to make Miami even a little bit more scarier.
Yeah.
And I think that Miami is going to be a better team than Boston is. I think that Miami, and I'm going to go out and say this, and I even believe that Miami will be a better team than Milwaukee is. And that might be a stretch to some people, but I feel if Lillard goes there, Miami's going to be. I'll say that they will get the top seed.
Wow.
Yep, I'm saying it now. If Lillard goes to Miami, Miami just got that much better, and Miami is going to get the top seed. All right, Big B, what's your thoughts with Porzingis, with the Porzingis trade, and then the potential Lillard to Miami?
Yeah, it could shake up a couple franchises. I mean, Lillard to Miami would make them very, very scary. Porzingis to Boston. I mean, it could be one of those where it's kind of like Dallas. We expect them to be decent, but do they have enough balls to go around? They got. How's it going to be? I mean, they got the whole offseason to work it out, get a game plan going. So, it could be hit or miss there, but. Yeah, if Lillard gets his wish and goes to Miami, I'm with you, Ace. I don't know if I crown him the number one seed, but it'd be hard not to. I mean, they would be tough.
Absolutely, be tough. All right, especially with Adebayo and Butler and
Well, that's the key. You got to keep Butler happy for him to produce because we all had him here in Minnesota. Bulls had him. If you're not keeping him happy, he's gonna whine. He's not gonna play hard. So if you can keep him happy, sky's the limit for Miami.
yeah, I agree. All right, James.
I just feel like this trade, and the way that it was done, and I know business is business, but Marcus Smart was told a week before that, oh, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get traded. Don't worry.
Famous last words.
Yeah, and then when it happened, he wasn't even notified until he read it on, I think, social media, probably Twitter. So it's just the unfortunate part of business of the way it goes. It's just weird, with the Celtics, they needed toughness. I felt like they trade that away. Not a smart trade. Porzingis, he's not tough. He's injury prone. He's really fragile. The Celtics don't need that. They need someone who would get boards, can score inside. They need to do that. You saw in the Miami series, in a couple of games, Bam Adebayo had great games inside. He was pushing Horford away and Williams third away. Williams has to be that guy now. But
yeah,
that's going to clog up the paint. And then you saw how the scoring kept going through Brown sometime, Tatum sometimes, or no one was scoring for Boston. Now you get Porzingis in there when available. He can score and all that, but it's just like a big scoring three, but there isn't any toughness or defense because Jaylen Brown disappears and just traded the toughest part of your team, Marcus Smart. And then you guys mentioned the Lillard rumors. Everybody except Butler and Bam Adebayo is touchable for Portland. So all the shooters they have and whatever draft picks they're going to have in the future are going to have to go to Portland for Lillard. The thing is, now you have the three there, Lillard, Bam, and Jimmy. But then you have to fill the team around him with minimum veteran players, rookies. That's going to be the tough part. But they're used to that in Miami. Remember, they did that with the big three in Miami a decade ago with LeBron and Wade and Bosh, and they had all these veterans around them. So they can do it again. But my worrisome thought is like, hey, Lillard also gets hurt sometimes too. And you really need him if you're trading all of your core, almost, bench core away. So that's what I'm worried about if they do trade Lillard with to Miami for the Heat. I'm just worried about that. But yeah, I don't think it was smart trading Marcus Smart away. He's going to fit well with the Grizzlies, and he's going to see a lot of playing time and a lot of offense go through him because Dylan Brooks is gone. That idiot went to, for some reason, Houston wanted him. That, the way Houston is like building their team and drafting, they look so dysfunctional. And you're going to see something with Dylan Brooks. They're going to have a fight like in the on the bench, it seems like. I don't think that's going to work out either. So, man, there's a lot of bad moves going on, it seems like, in the NBA lately. The Lakers are probably the only team, I think, that made all the right moves so far, sadly to say. They re-signed Reeves. They get some other players around him. Gabe Vincent, who was on the Miami team, goes to the Lakers. So that's a trade piece you would have had for Lillard and a great bench player. And he's gone now for Miami. So they have to be careful with that Lillard trade. But yeah, I don't like that trade with Porzingis going to Boston. I hope it works out. But Ace, I could see the way you're talking with Miami. And remember, they were never supposed to be in the play-in last year.
No.
Jimmy pulled them into the actual playoffs and actual finals. Maybe with a better team and another man to help them with the scoring, like Lillard, they might get that first seed. You're not wrong about that.
All right, Crispy, your thoughts.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a wild offseason in NBA. I know Porzingis, when he was in Dallas, he, kind of like what you were saying, he has to play well and, for him to stay happy. I don't think he was happy, and that's why he went somewhere else. And hopefully he does better where he's at.
No, James, I know what you're saying about Boston and the bigs and everything, because you do have to have bigs in order to control the boards and get aggressive and things like that, because we've seen it too many times to where you don't have bigs and you can't win a championship. We saw several years ago how good Houston was when James Harden was there. They were number one in the regular season, had the best record, went into the playoffs and couldn't win because they had zero bigs on the team. And if you don't have bigs, you get dominated at the glass and you can't get rebounds. And so that's been a concerning issue for Boston, and I think it will continue to be a concerning issue for Boston. But I still think with Porzingis, it still makes them better on the offensive side to where they'll be able to compete with teams that can put up a lot of points. But still, they still can't dominate the boards. But sticking on the NBA side, another one that I wanted to talk about, because there was rumors swirling about that, is that James Harden, he could potentially get traded from Philadelphia. So if James Harden gets traded from Philadelphia, where's he going to go? That's where it's going to be interesting to see. Where the heck is James Harden going to get traded if he gets traded? And
I
so
think they said Clippers, that he wants to go there because
that was a potential. That was a potential destination that I saw that he could end up in LA. So Big B, James Harden. If James Harden gets traded, where's he going?
Well, if everybody gets their wish, you'll be in LA with LeBron. I can see it happening, but I don't know what LA has left to trade. I mean, or even their salary cap. Maybe if Isaiah's watching, he could tell us. But
They don't have the cap.
I was going to
No,
say I didn't
he
think they had
wants
a
to go
cap.
to the
But
Clippers. He wants to go to the Clippers, not the Lakers.
oh, he wants to go to the Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers.
Well, maybe they have the. I don't know. I mean, LA will get who they want, so we'll see. But I think it'll be hard to move them.
All right, James.
Well, I was reading here that Harden is picking up his $35.6 million option. So he's picking that up with the Sixers. And I think Philadelphia is doing whatever they can to keep him. They were on this white shirt only party, yacht party. What is that called? A white affair? Or I don't know. Everybody wears white, basically. All the celebrities get together and whatnot. So Embiid, Harden shared some hugs in a picture. The Sixers owner and Harden were handshaking and hugging. So it seems to me like, hey, just based on that, they don't want him to go. And I was also reading teams are hesitant to deal some real players or picks for James Harden. So that might make him really tough to move for what the Sixers really want, because right now they have to deal with bringing back Maxey. He's a really good guy scoring. When Harden is off and Embiid is injured, they need Maxey. They need Tobias Harris to be good too. They need to deal Harris before they ever deal Harden. Tobias Harris, he makes so much money, but he's not what his contract is. He just disappears during games. Excuse me. And I just don't see a scenario where James Harden gets traded. I think the Sixers keep him for one more year, unless somebody blows the Sixers away with a great trade proposal. But I just don't see it right now. I don't see it now. I really don't.
All right, so you think that James Harden sticks with Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Okay. Crispy.
I still think he's going to the Clippers. I mean, that's where he wants to go. It depends on what they want to do, though. But at this point, I think no matter where he goes, it's not going to be a long-term, solution. I think he's going to go somewhere else after that.
Okay. So interesting thoughts on this potential James Harden trade. I could see him sticking in Philadelphia. They'll probably do whatever they can, like James said. They'll probably do whatever they can to keep him and make sure he stays right there. So they're gonna do whatever they can to make him happy.
He opted out of his contract, so he's a free agent, I believe.
No, he picked up the option.
I'm confused on it, but I thought they said he opted out.
No, James Harden picked up the option, so he is not a free agent. He's still with Philadelphia, but he wants to. Originally, the rumor was that he wanted to be traded. Whether or not that happens is yet to be seen, but that's the current rumors and speculations going around.
Okay.
All right. So shifting focus, let's jump on over. Big B, you put this in the chat the other day also, that sports radio was picking up that the New England Patriots are going to sign DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook. And so if the Patriots sign DeAndre Hopkins, if the Patriots sign Dalvin Cook, is this going to be enough for New England to compete in the AFC East and actually be towards the top of the East? Because we know how good Buffalo is. We're pretty sure that the Jets are going to be a good team, and we're pretty sure the Dolphins are going to also be good. So, Crispy, I'll start out with you on this one. Do you think that if Hopkins and Cook goes to New England, that's going to make them good enough to compete in the AFC East?
I think it'll make them better, but I don't think they'll have. I think they'll make either second or third. I don't think they'll make the top spot in the AFC East. You still got Buffalo. The New York Jets are right now on paper. I don't know how that's going to go. I say the Patriots will be second or third.
All right, Big B, would this make New England good enough?
Well, I mean, get Jones a decent, I should say decent receiver, but a very good receiver. You get him a good running back that, if he can stay healthy, again, the big word if, could be a dominant back. So, I don't know. I mean, because Buffalo's tough. Miami, if they can keep Tua healthy, can be a big question mark on how good they're going to be. Jets, with all the moves they made, who knows what's going to happen there. Right now, I'd put them, if they do sign them, I'd put them at a strong contender for number 2. I don't think they're going to have enough willpower to get past Buffalo, but they'd make a strong case for 2 in a wild card spot.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Jones there, Big B. I just don't know if Jones is the answer. I really don't.
Well, and that's the thing is, a lot of experts are saying that Jones is the real deal, that, he's better than most quarterbacks. And, I mean, I'm with you. I got to see it because I don't think he's that good. But, again,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, again, if you get some people there, then, yeah, we'll see. But a lot of experts are high on Jones. So,
yeah, and it makes me wonder, would you agree with the assessment? Because I know you mentioned it yet that you would want to see it with Jones, but from the first few years I've seen him, I haven't seen it yet. Like how people are talking about how good of a quarterback he is. He hasn't really shown me that he's that guy. I want to see that big improvement. And last year, agree with me or not, I feel like Jones actually took a step back. So
did he get benched a couple games too, or was that the year before?
No, it was last year. He got benched a couple games. Oh. And so that's what I'm saying. I just don't see it. So currently I just haven't seen that Jones is the guy.
Yeah. Well, he's no Tom Brady, so.
All right. James, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And that was a tough deal for him to replace Tom Brady, to be the next quarterback after him.
Uh-huh.
That was going to be tough. His rookie year was definitely his best, but the last 2, have been really awful. When you get benched like that, when you're fighting with the coaches to run the ball more and you're the quarterback, I think Peyton Manning would hate that because he always wanted to throw the ball. But yeah, I'm reading here that the betting odds that the Patriots, yes, are the favorites to get Hopkins and Cook. I agree with Big B, though. I think they would still be right under the Bills. And depending on Tua, they would be right there with Miami. I don't believe in the Jets. The more that I look at things, the more the issues with Rodgers may come up. And then, hey, if the Bills self-destruct from within, that whole thing with Diggs at the end of the season and not really showing up to training camp, not doing anything. If they self-destruct, then maybe maybe the Patriots can get there. It just depends on Miami too. And then again, I don't know about the Jets right now. I feel like, okay, they've done some things well in the offseason, but they're still young. They're still trying to learn how to win. They were on their way last year and then fell really hard. I think that division, Buffalo self-destructs. The division is wide open.
Yeah.
Again, I think Hopkins should do the Juju Smith-Schuster route. Juju got a contract from New England. He should just go to Kansas City on a 1-year deal, win a ring with Mahomes, and then sign a long-term big deal with the Patriots next season. But Dalvin Cook has to go somewhere to a contender where they have to win right now for him, because running backs' shelf lives are really short. So I'd try to go to a contender right away. I know Miami is one team that wants him. The Patriots? Maybe there's another few teams out there. I know we talked about it. Even Denver, for some reason, was in that list. There's some NFC teams I would think as well wanting Cook. But, yeah, again, if the Patriots get Cook and Hopkins, they're right there with Miami. Well, maybe they're a little bit with Miami. They're a little bit less than Miami, just based on Mac Jones. It's all coming down to Mac Jones. If Hopkins is there, but you can't get him the ball, you know what good is there that Hopkins is there?
Yeah, and a lot of times though, for teams to win, it does come down to quarterback play. A lot of times it does. In this league, well, I'm not going to say all the time, but a majority of the time, you have to have a good quarterback in order to win. There has been special cases in the past, you know, like Jimmy Garoppolo getting, like Jimmy Garoppolo getting to a Super Bowl, and then Trent Dilfer winning a Super Bowl. Those were kind of the special cases that you're like, oh, you know, they had a really good defense that could lead them there. So I feel like with the Patriots, yeah, it's gonna heavily rely on Mac Jones. It definitely is going to. But you know, when you talk about free agent players too that could potentially be signed, you have another running back out there who, you know, when he came in, started his career, he started his career on a high note. But we've seen over the course of the last several seasons, he has dropped off significantly. And of course, it's the one and only Crispy's ex running back, Ezekiel Elliott. We've seen how much of a drop off he has taken. So when it comes to Elliott, you know, if Cook goes to New England, well, Elliott's going to be out there. So where potentially could Zeke Elliott go? Because I think wherever Zeke Elliott goes, it's going to have to be a 1-2. I don't think that Zeke is going to be that one guy that's going to be able to come in and carry the workload. I just don't see it.
I think Zeke's okay with that.
He would have to be. He did it with Pollard. He did it with Pollard, and I get it. But I'm saying when a lot of players come in, they want to be that guy. And I'm not saying that Zeke, you know, wouldn't be okay with that. I just know that a lot of people want to be that guy. And Zeke, I can tell you, he can't be that guy. He cannot carry that workload anymore like he did in year one. So Big B, if Zeke Elliott got signed, you know, where is Zeke going?
Well, earlier in the offseason, Buffalo was a big landing spot for some of the big name running backs that were rumored to be on the move. So I could see Buffalo. I could see, you know, if I'm Zeke and thinking about a ring and stuff, you know, you can't not look at San Fran or Kansas City and maybe even Philly, you know, depending on what their caps are. But, you know, if I'm Zeke, I'm going to try to get, you know, like you said, you know, a pretty decent deal. Is definitely going to have to be a 1-2 punch, and I want a ring. So Buffalo, Kansas City, San Fran, Philly are my top teams that I would choose from.
I feel like Baltimore might actually be a good fit for Zeke too, because
Possibly.
because even if Zeke is the starter in Baltimore, he still wouldn't have to carry the workload because he has Lamar Jackson, who does a
Yep.
lot of running too.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
feel like Zeke might make a good fit there. So James, how about Zeke Elliott?
I remember the rumors. Yeah, were Buffalo. Excuse me. I remember the Bengals. With
Well.
Joe, with that Joe Mixon issue out there still going on in his family. You never know. He might get in trouble again. They lost P line to the Broncos, so maybe there's a little spot there. Even the Jets, I could maybe see that. I like that. I like that Ravens pick because in some goal line situations, remember everybody kept saying, "Man, well, you got to keep Lamar Jackson healthy, but don't have him running as much, and don't have him running in those 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, 3rd and 2s. Now you could just put in Elliott, and run him through that." So I know that wasn't one of the teams that was rumored, but I think that'd be a smart move. I don't know if New England would be a spot. It just seems like anybody that's a contender, that could be a spot. And I remember there was like 7 or 8 teams that were rumored to be looking at him. And I think as the training camp, as this month goes on and preseason goes on, finally I think there will be some calls for Elliott. But I'm gonna say Cincinnati. I think that's the wild horse for Ezekiel Elliott, just depending on need and Mixon's off the field issues.
All right, Crispy.
I like the idea of Baltimore. I also like Kansas City, kind of the same situation in a way, though, because Mahomes can scramble, but he can also kind of toss you the ball. But then you also have those other teams. I'm going to say Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay. So so it looks like there's 3 for Baltimore there. It looks like there's not a long ways to go before the season starts. I think we're all kind of getting excited because it's right around the corner. We know that preseason starts next week, or not next week, but next month.
August 3rd is the Hall of Fame game, and then kickoff is September 7th.
Yes, and we're all getting very, very excited for it. We definitely want it to come. We're like, yes, it's there. We're waiting for it to happen. Let's hit it. Let's get it here. Let's get the season started. And James, the one thing that I kind of agree with you on is I think that you might see some people wait to sign until right before the season, because people might want to see, is there going to be any injuries in the preseason happen? So if there's injuries in the preseason, then boom, then that teams are like, okay, boom, we know Zeke's out there, we know Hopkins is out there, we know Cook's out there, potentially, unless they choose to sign before preseason starts. But if not, they could just kind of wait a little bit and see, okay, let's see who actually gets hurt. And that might be a route to go if I'm Cook or Hopkins or Zeke. Just wait it out. Your time's going to come.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Big B, any final thoughts on anything that we covered tonight?
No, I mean, we're kind of getting into, Major League Baseball's All-Star Game's going to start, that's going to start heating up. Second half of the season there. Basketball's D-League started, the Summer League or whatever is starting up. And, we just mentioned preseason training camps are going. So we're getting into the thick of things, boys.
Yeah, we are. We're running that gauntlet now. We are right there. All right, James, any final thoughts for you tonight, sir?
Yeah, I think the distractions away from Angels baseball and Raiders rumors, I'm going to be watching a lot of NBA Summer League. I believe on Friday, The number 1 pick will face the number 2 pick out in Las Vegas. Brendan Miller for the Hornets and Wemba for the Spurs. So I'm going to be watching that. For some reason, I like watching Summer League. I don't know why. Sometimes more than regular season. Just because it's your first time seeing these draft picks. It's your first time, seeing some players that are just trying to make it on the roster. At least some consideration. Oh. And it's just cool. It's almost like spring training baseball in a way. So I'm going to be watching that action from Vegas, but I kind of wish I was there. There's one time I want to go. I know it's going to be hot as hell, but I would go, watch basketball all through the day and just party all through the morning, get about 5 hours sleep and go do it again. So that's one of my goals, is get out there for NBA summer.
A marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Crispy, any final thoughts for you?
Yeah, no, sports are, getting crazy. They're kind of running into each other, and it's going to be fun summer and fall.
All right. Well, we definitely want to thank everybody for watching. It's been another fun episode of Sports Minute. You can catch us right here next Wednesday for another episode of Sports Minute. With that, we hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we'll see you next week.